back to Bud's pod and his crew. We part of his crew, his pod.
Hello. Good evening. Or, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Disclaimer, the next two pods will be the shortest pod in podcast history.
He's making us work.
They're probably relieved.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Manny.
All right, man, you got 10 minutes. Go.
Where did we last leave off? Jeremiah, right?
Jeremiah 23. We're looking at verse 23, where he condemns the false prophets. God denounces false prophets who lead people astray with lies and false assurance. Pretty much the same. Then prophecy about coming Messiah and righteousness branch from David, line who will reign wisely and bring justice. God promises to gather his scattered people from all the lands and restore them to their own land.
Amen.
And what else did we learn about that? Pretty much the same thing, but any input? Anybody?
Keep going.
I remember the pa lady said that, like, I guess as a joke. I don't know. She's like, well, all these people want to hear God, but she's like, well, read the Bible out loud. And you'll hear him.
There was a rim shot behind that? Oh, okay.
Insert that in and edit. And post. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, so Jeremiah 24 talks about the two baskets of figs. When Jeremiah sees a vision of two baskets of figs and one good and bad, the good fig represents the exile of Babylon, whom God will look after and eventually restore the bad figs, symbolizing those who remain in Judah and will face destruction. Because a lot of them didn't even want to leave either. Kept telling them, "Yeah, I gotta go. God will protect you," but they keep being, "No, we don't want to go." Stubborn.
Have you ever put like a fruit, like good fruit with bad fruit? Like it could be like something completely different. Like it could be like a few bananas, and then you put them like on a rotten apple.
Well, not on purpose, but actually.
No, not on, yeah. Well, I did it on purpose once just to try it, and yeah, they go bad pretty quickly. Yeah.
So what are you trying to say? Because we're around JP.
Exactly. We're rotten.
No.
Wow. Keep it up. You've been doing the podcast outside.
Sorry, sir. It's nice and fresh.
In the garage.
You'll be doing it in the garage with the tarantula.
Damn, okay.
There's no tarantula
There was.
outside. Scary.
Well, yeah, the vision, the same thing where, they don't want to, they're going to face destruction. As Jeremiah 25, 70 years of exile, Jeremiah prophesies that Judah will serve the king of Babylon for 70 years. And after that, God's going to punish them for their sins with Babylon. He uses them, and then it's like the Egyptians. He used them for the good, and then, eventually for the bad, he punished them too.
So I just realized he had them there in exile longer than he had the Egyptians in the desert. Right? Because they were there in 40 years. In Babylon, they're there for 70 years.
Well, there are 40 years in the desert.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just like by themselves. Like, not exile, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they were longer in Egypt than they were, I think, in Babylon.
Yeah. I just realized that.
Yeah, and then it says that God's gonna the cup of wrath. God tells Jeremiah to make nations drink the cup of his wrath, symbolizing the coming judgment of many nations. Which I don't know if he's talking about the future or around that time. Anything you want to add to that? Okay, we move on to Jeremiah 27 then. the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar. Jeremiah wears a yoke to symbolize Judah's coming servitude to Nebuchadnezzar, and warns the nations that refuse to serve Babylon will be punished. I wonder if God is making it, like always, he's making them see who's going to listen to him. He's telling them to listen to the king of Babylon and everything will go good, but they still don't want to listen. Anything about Nebuchadnezzar? Babylon?
Mm-mm.
No?
I wonder if he was ever like recorded, like in our history, like, you know what I mean? If they found any evidence that he actually existed.
I think he's in the, if you look back, timeline, I think he does pop up, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a cool thing where it says timeline, where it shows you all the events that are going on in the world at the time of the Bible stuff that was going on, so you can kind of place it. That's pretty interesting. I've seen that one. There's a,
That sounds cool.
it's a timeline, Bible timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see when this was going on in the Bible, this was going on in the world.
Wow.
And they kind of get you a picture of what was going on
Mm-hmm.
and what time. And I'm pretty sure because remember Babylon was in charge and then the Medes and the Persians came and took over. Isn't that the same thing as the 300? Remember the Medes and the Persians?
The movie?
Yeah. I don't even remember the movie. I'm just
I
thinking that.
remember.
I thought that's what it was. That, you know, they got, you know, the Medes and the Persians.
Mm.
But, yeah. And then, yeah, it says, what were we on Nebuchadnezzar? 27? Okay, 28. Conflicted with Hananiah, the false prophet, Hananiah breaks Jeremiah's joke and falsely prophesies that Babylon power will be broken in 2 years. Jeremiah counters his false prophets and Hananiah dies within the year of the son of falsehood. Starts saying all this stuff about Babylon. That they're going to beat them and this and that, and that, you know, they're going to overcome them, and at the end they don't. Yes? No?
Mm-hmm.
This feels more of a class now than
Yeah, I said I was coming to class. I want to learn.
you want to learn. Sir, you go to school for that. You got to pay money for that.
No, free year lessons.
Free 99. Jeremiah 29. Letter to the exiles. Jeremiah sent a letter to the exiles. Babylon advising them to settle down, seek the city's welfare, and wait for God's promise after 70 years.
The
Oh.
famous verse comes out of here.
Future hope, a promise of future hope, plans for prosperity, not disaster.
Prosperity.
What's that famous verse?
29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future.
That's the same verse that every Proverbs 31 woman has in their bio.
What does that mean, Proverbs 30 woman?
Remember we talked about it last time? The whole Proverbs 31 woman thing?
Shut up!
Is that a new one? I love it.
Is that Trump?
You have any other Trump ones?
A lot.
Which one?
Oh, God, we're getting political.
We're going to build the wall.
Whoa.
No.
China. You are fake news. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Little Rocket Man. What a stupid question that.
And if you take the vaccine, you're protected.
You should get the one that he said in the debate. I don't know what he just said. I don't think he knows either.
Yeah, I was trying to find a few of them before, but yeah.
That'd be perfect.
But I like this one.
What a stupid question that is.
So one interesting thing that I see here is that I think even the pod lady said that probably not, but I'm thinking how people have taken this verse out of context. Mm-hmm. But I mean, not even that. I know it works for what it is because of the context behind it, but some people don't even know what the context is. He's talking to Jeremiah to his people through Jeremiah, saying, "You're gonna go through Babylon and all this crap, but I still have a future for you. So all these things have to go through, but just know that this is my promise to you if you stick with me. Like, you already messed up. These are the consequences, but if you still follow me, like, I have plans for you."
Yeah, like people forget you have to still go through something.
Right.
So
It's not like Catholics. You just go to church, put the little thing, drink the blood, whatever, and you're good. You go right back to sinning.
Mm-hmm.
Confirmed by the Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My thoughts.
yeah, continue.
What were we,
29,
29? Oh, you mean 30?
30. Yeah.
The restoration of Israel and Judah. God promises to restore Israel and Judah, bringing them back to captivity, and He was going to rebuild them and heal their wounds and bring them back. I'm pretty sure after after they went through He got them out of Canaan, or what is it? Canaan, the same thing as Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then 31, the new covenant, a prophecy about new covenant God will make with His people, different from the one He made at Sinai. This covenant will be written in their hearts. Promise of restoration, joy, and rebuilding of Israel. Well, that was interesting. Where it's not gonna just be the book because they didn't want to listen. Now it's gonna be in their hearts. What if that's talking about when Jesus was coming, or around that time when He's gonna make the new covenant?
I thought the new covenant was with Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I said.
yeah, that's all. Like, I don't know if that was from Jesus or.
I'm pretty sure it's Jesus, the new covenant.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but because with Jeremiah and Isaiah, I think it's God was like going back and forth with what He is saying for the now, then, or the future Jesus. It was, you always kind of had to, like, because even the Poly says, okay, this is for Jesus, but this is for now, and the people were getting confused. But yeah, it's kind of confusing when you're just talking to them and telling them, going back and forth, like, you're gonna be fine, but not right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Or like the boat is sinking, but don't worry, or something like that. Okay, and then Jeremiah 32, Jeremiah buys the field despite the coming destruction. Jeremiah buys the field as a sign that hope of God will restore the land. He prays for the understanding of God, reassures him for the future restoration. I guess that to show people he's buying and he's putting his money where his mouth is.
He's got money.
Well, not just that, but why would he buy it if he keeps saying that everybody's saying that they're gonna die, or he's saying that they're gonna go in captivity, but he's also, I guess, having it that they're gonna come back for people to witness. I guess, I don't know. Then nothing. Buying the field, no. Kind of interesting. Okay. 33, promise of restoration. God affirms His promise of restoration and prosperity for Judah and Israel. He also reiterates the coming of the righteous branch from David's line. God promises a perpetual covenant with the David line and Levitical priest. Talking about, I guess, because he's going to be the priest and he's also from David. He's a high priest, and also because he came in the line of David. Because David wasn't a priest, but he took also the role of the priest, which were the Levites.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
Then 34 warnings. Jeremiah prophesies that Zechariah will be captured by Babylon, but will die peacefully. The chapter also deals with the people's failure to honor the covenant of freeing Hebrew slaves. Oh, that's when tells them to free them. They do, and then they go back on their word. They try to get them back, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they kind of like, yeah, and then I guess they see the work they do, and they're like, no, come back.
It's like,
Can't do this. Then 35 fulfills the Rick bread. I don't know. Obedience to the ancestors commanding is contrast with Judah's obedience to God. I don't remember what that is.
this is where the king burns his scroll and he has to write everything again.
Oh, that's when he gives it to his servant,
Yeah.
Balak, and as
He
he's
has to
reading, he
do it
says,
again.
burn it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Then he tells him he's gonna write it down again.
Yeah. Because the king burns it. And then he's beaten and thrown in prison.
Oh, you're talking about 36 then.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry.
Jeremiah.
Shut up, silly woman.
Who was he telling that to? An actual woman?
I don't know.
And what, 37? I guess I'm going down. That's not the chronological order, but is it? Maybe. Jeremiah imprisoned during the siege of Jerusalem. Jeremiah's imprisonment for prospering that the city will fall to Babylon. King Zedekiah seeks his counsel but does not heed it. Isn't that when he tells them, like, come tell me what's going to happen, but don't tell nobody? Because he wants to know what's going to happen, so he does tell them. He goes, so don't let anybody else know. And then when they ask you, what did you do? What did you come tell me? He tells them something else or something. Tell him to make up something. Jeremiah and cistern. Jeremiah is thrown in the cistern by the officials for the his prophecies, but is later restored by Edom, Melech, the Ethiopian. He continues to warn Zedekiah to surrender to Babylon to save his life. Anything about the Ethiopian? No, they always seem to find their way.
I know the cistern, she said it was about like 20 feet deep. Just pretty deep.
They just threw him in there.
Mm-hmm. But then like you said, the Ethiopian rescued him.
Wait, cistern of what?
The cistern, like a deep.
Like a well type of thing?
Yeah, they threw him in there. And then.
Kind of like 300 Sparta.
Literally.
They kicked him in there with that dramatic effect.
Mm-hmm. See? Spartan Israel.
The fall of Jerusalem, 39. Jerusalem is captured by Babylon. Zedekiah is captured and taken Babylon. Jeremiah is released and threatened. Treated well by the Babylonians.
Mm-hmm. King
God
Nebu.
protects him.
Yeah. King Nebuchadnezzar asked for Jeremiah. Because he thinks he's on his side.
Well, God is on his side, so he's on his side.
Amen, brother.
Well, I think he might, I don't know, he might think that he's on his side because he prophesied that
Keep
Babylon
telling
would take
everybody.
over.
Yeah, to surrender.
Like, yes, I like you. I will take over.
Probably. But that's what God wants too, so.
Yeah, it's part of his plan.
Yeah, so at the end of the day. And then Jeremiah, and after Jerusalem fall, Jeremiah is freed and choose to stay with Goliath, the governor appointed by Babylon. I don't think that's his name, but I can't say it.
Jedaliah or something?
Oh, Gedaliah. Okay, encouraged to remain to serve the Babylonians.
Get a liar.
Gedaliah.
Jedaliah?
Get a liar.
You Gedaliah.
Wow.
So yeah.
You are fake news.
As a recap, what is it? Well, the false prophets, the visions, the judgment, it's just the same thing. They don't listen. They do their own thing. And then you got some Psalms. I forgot about those.
Oh yeah, the songs.
There's 2
It's
Psalms.
been a while.
Same message as last time. Life sucks. God is good. That's it. Next.
And the song. Then what is it? Kings 24. Reign Hezekiah. King Hezekiah of Judah becomes a vessel to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, but later rebels against him. And like the invasion of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar sends riding parties against Judah, and eventually Babylon invades. This describes as God's judgment for the sins of Manasseh. Is that right? Manasseh?
Mm.
Joachim. I'm sorry about these names. Like Joachim dies and his son something becomes king. And then the son that becomes king reigns for 3 months before Nebuchadnezzar begins besiege Jerusalem. Then he surrenders, and along with his family, officials, and pressmen are taken captive to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar appoints Mattaliah, his uncle, and the king named him Zedekiah. I'm sorry, people.
He appoints him as king,
No.
Nebuchadnezzar.
What is it? Think I don't know.
You mean the governor?
Mattaliah?
Hmm?
Something.
Gedaliah?
Yeah, as a king.
No, as a governor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's the governor, but then he...
Renamed him
Was-
Zechariah now?
No.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, and then the 25, the siege of Jerusalem. And of course, the fall of Jerusalem. The destruction of Jerusalem. As they burn down the temples, king's house. Jerusalem, the walls of the city are broken down. The walls are broken down.
We're going to build the wall.
Well, it came down.
Wrong.
Exile of and remaining people. Remaining people were just the poorest who were left to tend the land. Gedaliah governorship is appointed to governor of the remaining people. However, he is assassinated by his mom, a member of the royal family. I kind of remember these from those shows. There's that show I kept telling you about, the Spanish one. The fate of Joachim is released from prison in Babylon and is treated kindly by the new Babylon king, evil Merodach.
What's his name?
Evil Merodach. I forgot the Spanish name.
Well, Marduk. Awel Marduk became king of Babylon, and he released the king, and treated him well all the days of his life.
Who's that? Jehoiachin?
Jehoiachin.
Jehoiachin?
Chin.
So were the Chinese people?
It's because he's the only one that surrendered. That's why he was put into prison. All the other ones...
Forgot to play it. Chinese people?
China.
So that's why he was the only one that was like... had a good outcome, I guess. So... because he obeyed and surrendered. Yeah.
And the same thing. What is it? Chronicles 36.
36.
The reign of Jehoaz becomes king of Judah after his father Josiah dies. Reigns for only 3 months before deposes by the king of Egypt, who imposes a tribute on the land and installs Joachim as king. I could be saying that wrong, so you gotta read the Bible.
Jehoiakim.
Jehoiakim.
They all sound the same, but it seems like they spelled a little bit different.
Just the ending. Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin.
Jehoiakim reigns for 11 years and does evil in the eyes of the Lord. During his reign, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, evades Joachim, becomes his vassal for 3 years before rebelling. Joachim is eventually taken captive to Babylon, and his sons succeed him.
That's where Jehoiachin succeeds. Right.
And then Jehoiachin reigns for 3 months and days before surrendering to Nebuchadnezzar, who takes him and many others, including treasures from the temple, into exile to Babylon. Zedekiah, Joachim's uncle, is made king. Zedekiah reigns for 11 years and does evil in the eyes of the Lord. He rebels against Nebuchadnezzar despite warning from the prophet Jeremiah. His stubbornness leads to the fall of Jerusalem. Due to Judah's priests' unfaithfulness and disregard of God's messenger, God allows the Babylonians to destroy Jerusalem and the temple and carry off the remaining two people to exile. And then it concludes with the Persian king Cyrus declares which faithful Jeremiah prophecies Cyrus permits to return of the exiles to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, signaling hope for the future restoration. Yes? No?
That's it.
Isn't it Habakkuk? The last one?
No, he does it.
Oh, for real?
That was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. Okay. All right then.
That's it. Bye, guys.
Well,
Thanks for joining us.
that's it.
Bye bye.
Final thoughts?
What's the conclusion? These chapters emphasize the seriousness of Judah's sin, the certainty of God's judgment through the Babylonians' exile.
Are you
The
on
failure.
clip notes?
Huh?
Are you on clip notes? Turn your
The-
screen around. Turn your iPad around. I need to
The
see.
failure of prophecies and leaders of unwavering promise of future restorations and hope through
Play the
Yeah.
fake news one.
You are fake news.
is AI considered fake news?
You
No, sir.
AI that?
No, sir.
I need to do that.
With the help of AI,
That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
we
Dang,
have got the
should've done
class. But yeah, it's the same thing. They should have listened to God. God's trying to be, just telling them to do just surrender. He says you're gonna have a good life. Just surrender. You're gonna have all the stuff you need. You'll be fine. But they keep being stubborn and no, and it leads to their downfall. Well, to the people that don't listen, But the people that do, they get to live a pretty pretty good life.
Yeah, he tells them to live their life in exile. Like, keep living it. Nothing, he has a plan to bring them back. But they don't see that. They don't hope for that.
Well, you see it at the end there where even Cyrus told him to go back and build a temple.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're pretty taken care of.
But isn't Cyrus already after Nebuchadnezzar, right? So he's jumping.
No, I think they lived at the same time.
For real?
I think so.
Because I'm thinking, how it kind of jumps. I'm thinking it's like after Daniel, after the king dies and all that.
No, because I think there's Cyruses that are all named the same. So it could be Cyrus something and Cyrus someone else.
That's weird. I just thought it was like when they came and took over the Medes and the Pergs. I thought it was like talking about them. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too. I don't know the Bible.
We're learning as we go. But that's pretty much it. From there, I'm pretty sure Jeremiah is the same thing, the whole book, but just emphasizing for them to go, and they don't want to go. And I guess it's just the obedience. God's telling you to do something like with Abraham, he just did it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're just scared of doing Fud or Abraham. So yeah, pretty much. I'm assuming that it concludes
Mm-hmm.
our episode.
Mm-hmm.
What fun, Fud and friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're his friends yet, but he's Fud.
Probably not.
You know, we're things, you know. So
If that.
Molecules.
well, we're here. So well, that's all I can think of. So
I don't know, like cut or something. I don't know.
Say goodbye.
hello everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. Sorry for
0 viewers.
me speaking.
Jesus.
Terrible
Is here.
speaker and reader.
He's probably watching Impulsive or something.
This is the most talking I think I done all day. Probably all week.
Season. Oh.
No, even in my regular life.
He has
Talking
a
about work and all that. You know, this is the most speaking I have. So apologies. And you can blame the FUD. Email him your complaints for this not to happen
They
again.
go straight to junk.
There you go. So I guess we'll see y'all next time.
With an even shorter pod. I think in 10 minutes tops.
Well, thank you very much, and I guess have a good one.
I guess. Or have a bad one. It's up to you. We're not telling you what to do.
We're not judging.
Stay out of junk, kids. So,
Yes, you don't want him as your parole officer. He will be on you and on you. And put a warrant on you.
I already issued 3 once, so.
On you, pause.
He's against freedom.
Bye.
Bye.